Good morning. I'm Gregory Mason, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church for Olympia Brown Unitarian Universalist Church's service. Start with some announcements. Roseanne, you want to come up?
Good morning, everyone. I have some more opportunities for you to help OBUUC become a good trouble congregation. We hope that you can make it to the pizza and postcard event this Friday, October 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be writing postcards. The children are invited to donate. He told me to hurry. Okay, we will be writing postcards, and the children are invited to decorate with us on Friday, October 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. You can sign up with me after service or give me a call so we know we have enough pizza. Racine Interfaith Coalition needs drivers for canvases on the following days: Tuesday, October 15th from 1 to 4, Saturday, October 19th from 10 to 1, and Thursday, October 31st from 1 to 4. They really need your help. Sign up with me after the service. Thank you.
Wow, Speedy Gonzalez. The next deadline for paper raise write orders is October 20th. See me if you need a form. Here are some upcoming dates to keep in mind. Next Sunday will be our multi-generational water communion service. On the 25th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m., there'll be a Halloween fun night and dessert potluck. And on October 27th, we will be joining Bradford Community Church Unitarian Universalist at 10 a.m. in Kenosha. 10 a.m. in Kenosha. 10 a.m. in Kenosha for a Halloween play and trunk or treat. Costumes are encouraged. If you need to reference the monthly unifier email, there is a link in each Sunday's email that will take you to it. Bring your Love Pantry donations to church on Sunday mornings. Our middle and high school youth will use them to fill the pantry on the first Sunday of the month. Before the service, you can put your non-perishable food donations in the red wagon, which you might have noticed, in the hallway outside of the church sanctuary. For more information and details about some of these announcements, along with others and community announcements, see your monthly email. It is not too early to think about the November unifier. The deadline to submit is October 25th. There's an addition to our order of service today. After we sing the children out, after the message for all ages, the board will have a presentation that you'll want to hear. Thank you to our volunteers today, our ushers, Joe Cushing and Mike Rude, our Zoom host, Maria Scott, our coffee hour hosts, Jan Fredrickson, Joe Pooroy, Patty Riemann, and Christina Mondragon, with some special Mexican cookies in celebration of Heritage Month. If you remember when we did our favorite hymn service, I had selected Make Me a Channel of Your Peace. I had given Alejandro some music with a very different variation on that, and he's going to be playing that today, just so you know about that. Please stay for coffee hour after the service. For those on YouTube, log into after the service for your coffee hour. The link is in today's email.
Good morning. Welcome to Olympia Brown Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Jen Simpkins. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm your worship assistant for this morning. It is good to be together. Welcome. Welcome, new friends. Welcome, old friends. Let's take a moment and wave to our friends that are joining us online. We begin our worship this morning with words written by Alex Riley. It is good to be together, together in this co-created sacred space where all are welcome. How you experience or express gender is welcome here. Who and how you love is welcome here. Where you are from and where you are on your journey is welcome here. Whether you come full of energy or find yourself running on empty, you are welcome here. You are part of a beloved community that is sacred because each of us is sacred. Each of us is always held in a larger love. It is good to be together.
All right, someone's got the flame. That's good. All right. Hi, I'm. Good morning. I'm Darren Utley. I'm pastor at First Presbyterian Church, but happy to be with you all again. This chalice lighting comes from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This chalice of audacious hope, this chalice shines a light of our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. This, I'm going to make sure this is, I need it to be on the unrest side this morning, so it's already set. Good. Sorry for the explanation here, but there's the theme this morning and for October, whether you get to it or not, all over the place, but it's deep listening, as you may have heard last week. And when I was reading through some of the materials, I thought of this chant that we had been doing in our congregation, and it's pretty simple. The folks over there are going to lead us in it, and as you feel comfortable, join in. The words are simply, let me hear what you will speak when I turn to you in my heart. And whether you think you're turning to the divine, or whether you think you're turning to the human spirit all around us, whatever you're turning to in your heart, there is truth and wisdom there. So enjoy.
Let me hear what you will speak when I turn to you in my heart. Let me hear what you will speak when I turn to you in my heart. Let me hear what you will speak when I turn to you in my heart.
And now it's time for the message for all ages. So if all the children and those young at heart can come on forward. So this morning, I'm going to read the book, and as Cody reminded us, Cody with this wonderful memory, The Circles All Around Us by Brad Montague and Christy Montague. And as Cody reminded me, we've done this before because really good books need to be read more than once. Don't you think? We begin by drawing a circle on the ground along each shoe. A place for just one person. Nobody in this circle but you. You could keep that circle closed to everybody but yourself, but that would be like a library with just one book on the shelf. So let's draw a bigger circle for you and your family to share. Now you see what all can happen in a circle full of care. It becomes a happier circle as more loved ones come to stay. And wouldn't it be even better if all your friends could come and play? So you stretch and draw your circle even bigger than it's been, and let a few more people know they're welcome to come in. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. Yet, there are still so many outside the circle who are different in all they do, though it still feels slightly uncomfortable. So if you look at that, that's a whole bunch of words where they're saying hello in a lot of different languages. So you've got bonjour, I see, salute, oi, hi, hello, hola, a lot, aloha, namaste. We draw a bigger circle for them too. So for all those people that speak those different languages. It doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. So we talk about this, that it's hard when you're in a big community, right? So that's why we have our UU values to help us live better in a community. But wonderful things can happen when love is known and felt everywhere. As time passes, our eyes open, we see others we really care for, and that's when we ask ourselves, well, what's this circle really for? So, let us create bigger circles all around us for the rest of our days. Let our caring ripple out in a million little ways. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. As our circles grow and we watch them wonder-eyed, remember that the first circle started with just the love you hold inside. Love is the center of all our circles, right? Okay, so now it's time for the children's blessing.
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Landis. I'm co-president along with Mary Graham of our Board of Trustees. A little over a year ago, the Board of Trustees impaneled a facilities task force to research and report to the congregation the options available in light of the safety and access issues which led to our no longer holding services in our church building at 625 College Avenue. This effort was entitled Finding Our Way Home. Since that time, the Facilities Task Force has explored more than a dozen options for determining our future home. Some are eliminated immediately as being infeasible. The remaining options were researched more fully. This afternoon, all members and friends will be emailed a copy of the Facility Task Force's final report. Those without email will receive a packet containing all of the information in that report. Please note that this report is a summary of the Facility Task Force's work. It is quite detailed with respect to the options that were investigated, including clickable links within the document that lead to much more in-depth discussion of each of the options. Please take the time to explore those links. They offer a great deal of depth and breadth in the Facility Task Force's examination of each option. The Facility Task Force's attempted to remain objective as possible in presenting the results of their work. Its intent was to provide OBUUC members with sufficient information to make an informed decision when participating in the vote called by the Board of Trustees. The vote to be taken first, and the one for which the Facilities Task Force did research, is the most basic question. Do we stay in our building at 625 College Avenue, or do we move to another location? Once that decision is made by the congregation, the details of either decision must be examined and delineated. Much of that information has already been gathered by the Facilities Task Force report, and it may be used to structure the next round of decision-making by the congregation with respect to what form staying or going will take. We have scheduled 4 informational question and answer meetings where members and friends can ask questions that you may still have after reading the Facility Task Force's document and its detailed links. All meetings will be led by Board of Trustee and Facility Task Force members with 90 minutes available for questions. And before I tell you what is scheduled, I will say that the details that I'm about to tell you about these meeting opportunities will be included in the email that you will be receiving. The first is next Sunday, in person, October 20th at 12:30 downstairs here at First Presbyterian. A light lunch will be provided. Please RSVP to the office if you will be attending and if child care is needed. Then on Tuesday, October 22nd at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom, that meeting will be held on Zoom, and the link is in the email that you will receive this afternoon. Another in-person meeting offered on Wednesday, October 23rd at 6:30 p.m. in Ehrman Hall here at First Presbyterian. Again, for this in-person meeting, please RSVP if you will be attending and let us know if child care is needed so we can set that up. Also, the last meeting on Zoom on Tuesday, October 23rd at 9:30 a.m. Okay, information about the voting timeline and the voting format, which will take place sometime in November, will be provided once finalized by the Board of Trustees at the October 16th meeting, and then we will let you know. At this time, Stephen Lyon, a Facilities Task Force member and board member, will give a brief demonstration of what is available on this report, and then he will also be available to ask questions in coffee hour.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. So what we have here is the Facilities Task Force final report. It's about a 7-page document, but is the result of countless hours of taking information from several different sources and distilling it down. This is the final report, but within it, there are several components. So let me scroll down a bit. So we have first an introduction, and then we have a series of basic statements, and then the facility itself, that is 625 College. 625 College, okay? Sorry. The idea is within this 7-page document, there are several links. Anytime you see something in blue, you can click on that, and it'll ask you, do you want to allow it? And you go, sure. And so we have now a second document. And so this talks about specifications, like given the size of our congregation, what is the amount of space that would be needed? And so in terms of worship space, RE space, kitchen space, social space, all these things are now part of this. So the idea is that as you go through the document, every time you see something in blue, you can click on that and then you can download that. All of these files are in a PDF, so that on your tablet, on your phone, or on your computer, you should be able to access all of this information. And so collectively, we're looking at about 36 pages of data, but this has been the result of months and months of intense work by the Facilities Task Force. But the idea is that for every possible option about do we stay at the church, do we go, do we move the building, do we build the building from scratch, do we acquire land, do we merge with somebody else, do we work with a nonprofit who has space to share, all those kind of options have been considered. And so what the Facilities Task Force is we've looked at the option and then found values associated with that in terms of what the general costs are. These are ballpark figures, but these are very good estimates based on professional sources that we've spoken with in terms of architects, engineers, construction specialists, real estate specialists. So the idea is all of us have a lot of homework to do. There's not going to be a test, but there will be a vote. So it's dependent on all of you that love this church to do your homework, to read, but also if you have questions, please write them down and then come to the meetings, and then we can hopefully discuss and provide answers for you. Okay?
Right. Please, please open and take the time to read the full Facilities Task Force final report, including all the detailed information and the links. This important information was provided by the Facilities Task Force to help you make an informed decision when casting your vote in November. Thank you.
There are many ways we give to the life of the church, and the monetary offering is just one of these ways. Each month, we partner with a local organization and share the money we collect. Our partner this month is Big Sisters of Greater Racine. Big Sisters of Greater Racine was founded in 1968, inspired by the national Big Brothers Big Sisters movement. The organization's mission is to empower girls in the Racine community by providing them with positive role models and mentors. Through consistent long-term relationships, Big Sisters of Greater Racine aims to foster self-confidence, resilience, and personal growth in young girls. These programs are designed to support and guide girls through critical stages of their development, ensuring they have the tools and support needed to achieve their full potential. More information on how to give can be found on the back of your order of service. Thank you for your generosity. Part of being in community is sharing our joys and sorrows with one another. We do that in many different ways. Sometimes we share them out loud, sometimes we light candles, sometimes we share in a completely different ritual. We all experience comfort in sharing and holding one another in different ways. This morning, you're invited to come forward and light a candle representing a joy or sorrow that is on your heart or mind. and we'll light one final candle for the joys and sorrows that are on the hearts and minds of our beloveds joining us online. There is a love holding us always. May we rest in that love. Amen and be. You're invited to join in singing There Is a Love. The words can be found in your order of service.
I'm going to put it on just in case I feel like wandering around, you know. Maybe I'll get shy and just want to hide in the back. You can still hear me. Our reading this morning comes from the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison and is part of a piece called How to Survive the Apocalypse. Sometimes that feels closer than others. First, learn to listen, not only for enemies around corners and hidden places, but for the faint footsteps of hope and the whispers of resistance. Hone your skills, aim your heart toward kindness, and stockpile second chances. Under the weight of destruction, we will need the strong shelter of forgiveness and the deep wells that give the sweet water of welcome. We have a place for you. When the world ends, we must not add destruction to destruction, not accept a beggar's bargain to fight death with more death. In order to survive the apocalypse, any apocalypse at all, we have to give up the counterfeit currency of self-sufficiency, the mistaken addiction to competition, the lie that the last to die has somehow survived. This morning, I'm continuing with the theme of listening. And as I thought about, that's good. Hello, everyone. As I thought about this theme of deep listening, the first thing that came to my mind is what we're allowed to hear and what we don't even get the chance to listen to sometimes. If you look on the front of the bulletin, I've chosen maybe an odd, place to talk about in a sermon, but this is a graphic depiction of the last time the UN voted on whether our U.S. embargo on Cuba should end. There were 189 of the countries in favor. That's all the blue on the map. There were 2 against. You can't see the little bit of red there in the middle of the Mideast, but you might guess who that is. And then there were 2 abstentions who are, one of them quite dependent on our military arms near the border of Russia. So, as far as I know, most of the newspapers that I look at, or any of the news that I hear or force myself to watch just in case they might report on something that I'm interested in, never says anything about this vote. And this vote happens every year. And it's the same result almost every year, except for sometimes it adjusts for whoever needs to be in our back pocket at the time. So sometimes it changes. But the question is, when we listen to the voices all around us, especially the ones that are so readily available to us in our mainstream media, in our newspapers that we get, think about all the people, all the human beings, all the lives that are ignored. Billions and billions of people over here who have a different understanding, different intention than we're even allowed to hear about. So part of what I want to encourage all of us this morning is, when we think about listening, one way to do that is to start conditioning ourselves to hear the circle drawn around the interests of where that comes from. The children's book. When Fox or MSNBC or whoever tells us a story, how broad is the circle that those interests and intentions come from? Because to us, when we receive it, because we've received it all of our lives, it seems like they must be telling us about the most important things in all of the world. Because aren't we some of the most important people in all of the world? Aren't we the smartest, the most civilized, the wisest? So how could the people on our TV not be telling us the most enlightened, wise, and accurate things that are in the whole wide world? That's what we hear. But when we turn to listen, when we listen deeply, I encourage us to listen as broadly as possible. Always think to ourselves, who are the human beings? Who are the masses of human beings that have not had any input on this story? I heard an interesting tidbit about the kind of starting of the free speech movement in Colombia back around the Vietnam era. And they asked one of the organizers, when the college has a vote and decides whether you should dismantle this free speech encampment and go back to your business or whatever, or not, will you go along with the vote? Because that's the democratic process, right? And he said to them, I'll happily go along with it if we include the voices of all those in Harlem that circle our campus, and if we include the voices of the Vietnamese whose interest is really why we're standing here. I love this, I don't know if this is official yet, but this cool little like swirly thing that's your guys' values and stuff, you know? It's pretty cool. There's a couple of things in the covenants that I think help us in this. Under interdependence, the covenant is we covenant to protect earth and all beings from exploitation. Wow. That's bold, but important. And under justice, we covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. How do we listen with an ear for those two things? Because the fact of the matter is that the majority of the life that is on this planet are the people who are being exploited and oppressed. And by some accident of birth, we happen to be in the place that does a great majority of the exploiting and oppressing. Which, again, we don't hear about. But if we listen to voices from Guatemala, if we listen to voices from Cuba, if we listen to voices from the Sudan, if we listen to voices all around the world, if we broaden our listening, if we deepen it to the broadest scope of humanity, we can hear again and be reminded again of the people that we're called to be in these covenants. I want to, I think what did we end, like 10 minutes early last time I talked? So I'm not sure. I feel like I can keep going because but then we had that talk, didn't we? So anyway, I'm figuring it out as we go. But I will end with this because we have come to this day through this week with the anniversary of a genocide that's going on in Palestine. We come to this Sunday where tomorrow indigenous people around the world will try to remind us for a day, at least, that their voices are still relevant and important. Just to say that I did watch a lot of the news around the anniversary of what's been happening in Palestine. And it's amazing. I understand that, you want to tell both sides, but if you listen, go back and listen to any mention of the actual humanity, historical reality, anything about the Palestinian people, the indigenous people of that land. It is almost entirely absent or parenthesed for the sake of, not getting called out for not at least saying something. And it's incredible, right? Because it's not hard for us to know and to see what's actually happening. It is literally everywhere around us if we turn and look at it. But the people who dictate what we hear, what they say we're supposed to listen to, have lied to us, either straightforward or by omission. Well, for almost 80 years, but, particularly in this last year, this particular group of indigenous people in that place. And if we intend to people who covenant to bring an end to oppression and exploitation, not only of people, but of the actual planet, we have to listen. We have to listen. We have to pause and listen as deeply as we can to the indigenous people of this earth, to the oppressed, the exploited. And we have to tune ourselves every minute, every day, when we hear something, to ask ourselves, how broad is this circle? Where is this coming from? I know that I want to hear it. It's actually what I like to hear. It comforts me in some way, or maybe it doesn't challenge me. The circle is so much broader. Okay, let's do that. Now we get to sing Do You Hear, which I've never heard before, but I picked it. So, and I don't know what all those notes are meaning, but they said it was easy to sing. But I don't have one. All along, I knew that tune. Tempted to figure out what it is, but through the storm, through the night, something like that. Lead me on, something like that. I don't know. I've avoided editorializing in most of the times that I've visited you, but it is my want and my way, so the more I'm with you, I hope you'll bear through that. This is this chalice extinguishing from Emily Gage. May we open our hearts and minds to one another and the world. May we let ourselves be changed by the stories around us. May we deeply listen and be deeply listened to, and be held in silence and love, and so may it be always. I want to just modify this a little bit. It probably is more of a charge than a blessing, but since Gregory requested it and Alejandro played it, I'll leave you with this charge from the prayer of St. Francis, maybe adapted a little bit. Make me a channel of your peace. Make us a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us bring love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, true faith. Make us a channel of your peace. Where there is despair in life, let us bring hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, ever joy.